This is Valley News Live at 10.
We begin tonight at 10 with a Fargo family search to find a missing loved one. Good evening, everyone. I'm Justin Betty.
And I'm Stacy Van Dyke. On March 6th, last Sunday, 25-year-old Jordan Simeon's car broke down near Little Rock, Arkansas, and he hasn't been seen since.
His family reached out to our whistleblower hotline and talked with Valley News Team's Aaron Walling today. He is the latest on their efforts.
I just want to know that he's safe overall and that he is essentially alive. At this point, we don't know that at all.
According to Jayla Simeon, her brother Jordan Simeon of Fargo went missing on March 6 when his car broke down in Little Rock, Arkansas. His last known actions was waiting for a tow truck, and he hasn't been heard from since.
His phone has been off for this whole time too, with no location. That's really unusual for him. He would usually reach out, as he did when he called when his car broke down. So going without a phone after that for so many days and not reaching out to anybody is unusual for him.
According to Jayla, Jordan has dealt with his own personal demons and was heading to New Orleans to restart his life. She says that Jordan suffers from Huntington disease, which makes him a vulnerable adult.
Jordan is a very good person with a very big heart. He cares a lot about a lot of people.
Jayla says that law enforcement in Arkansas and North Dakota are currently working on the case to help find out what happened to Jordan. Fargo PD says that there is no indication that Jordan has returned to the area, and they are asking for the public's help in finding him, as Jayla spends another night hoping she'll get to see her little brother again.
I would give him a big hug and tell him I was very glad that he was okay and not to do that again.
Aaron Walling, Valley News Live.
Jordan is described as 5'11", about 200 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes, and that hummingbird tattoo on his neck, which you just saw during the story. If you have any information on where he is, please contact 911 dispatch at 701-451-7660.
And if you need help with an issue in your community, call our whistleblower hotline 701-369-3187 and leave your tip. A member of our investigative team will get on the case and go to work to expose the truth.
All right, outside, a cold night ahead, but then a warm-up heading our way. Meteorologist Nathan Hopper joins us now live with the details. Nathan.
Yeah, you're right, Justin. Cold tonight, but good news is the wind won't be with us like it was today. Look at this. The peak winds we saw today, 45 miles per hour in Carrington, 44 miles per hour in Jamestown, Cooperstown, 37 miles per hour that gust in Grand Forks and in Fargo. Now, here's how things are shaping up at this hour with that wind. You can see around, say, 5 to 15 miles per hour. So good news is not seeing any snow blowing around, and that's allowing that calm winds, allowing some cooler air to really settle into the valley here. Wind chill advisory for us until 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Some wind chills 25 to 35 degrees below zero here overnight tonight. Now for the weekend, we'll just jump right into it. Tomorrow, a windy day. A south wind will be with us. May see some blowing snow tomorrow, and also watching a clipper system move through tomorrow afternoon and evening, mainly northwest Minnesota. Going to see the best chance of that fresh snowfall, but with the wind, that could cause for some tricky travel there northwest Minnesota. Near 30 for Sunday, some spotty PM snow showers, but hey, next week, palm trees, toes in the sand, warming up next week. I'll break down just how warm we get next week coming up here in a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Nathan.
Also new for you tonight, a woman will be facing charges after police say she stole a car and led them on a high-speed chase through multiple counties. The Foster County Sheriff's Department told News Dakota they learned of a stolen car going 90 miles an hour on Highway 20 South around 5:30 this evening. They say the woman stole the car in Devil's Lake and the owner started following her. The sheriff says the pursuit eventually ended when the woman got stuck in a field in Stutsman County. She was taken to the Jamestown Regional Medical Center for unknown injuries. Meanwhile, troopers are still looking for the person behind a high-speed chase in Fargo today. They say the driver was heading east on I-94, going more than 100 miles an hour and refused to stop. The driver crashed into another car at one point. The trooper put out spike strips near the Cheyenne Street exit, but the driver kept going. They eventually exited south on Veterans Boulevard, where Highway Patrol stopped pursuing them due to safety concerns. The car was later found abandoned. If you have any information, you're asked to contact Highway Patrol at 701-328-2447.
North Dakota Highway Patrol also says mechanical issues, the cause of a plane crash today northeast of Minot. Highway Patrol says around 4:30 this afternoon, the plane landed in an open field near 55th Street Northeast and 19th Avenue Northeast. Neither the pilot nor the passenger was injured. The aircraft did suffer some minor damage. The FAA is now investigating. The driver who was killed in yesterday morning's crash near Ardock has now been identified as a 26-year-old woman from West Fargo. North Dakota Highway Patrol says Amanda Thompson died after she crossed into oncoming traffic and crashed head-on into a semi. The driver of that semi was not hurt. The crash is still under investigation.
Educators are now on day 4 of their strike in Minneapolis as teachers picketed across the city. The district says most 7th and 8th graders and some high schoolers now have 0 extra days in the calendar. That means any lost time will need to be made up over spring break, by extending the school year, or by reducing professional development days. The union and school district continue to debate classroom size, mental health support, and wage increases.
Spring break is now here for many local students, but it's not all fun and games. The Better Business Bureau says this time last year, travelers were scammed out of thousands of dollars. And there are quite a few scams to look out for, including pop-up ads that lead you to scam travel sites, vacation rental cons promising cheap trips that turn out to be fake, sites claiming free vacations that ask then for your credit card information. But there are a few ways to avoid these types of scams.
Get all trip details in writing before making any final payments. If the deal or discount seems just too good to be true, it probably is. Avoid wiring any money or using a prepaid debit card.
Before you book, the Better Business Bureau says do all your research. You can head to this story on valleynewslive.com for some more resources. New tonight, the cost of gas and food are of course on the rise, but for those who need their cars for their jobs, the pay is pretty much the same.
Valley News Team's Alex Larson tagged along with a delivery driver to see how he's handling the squeeze.
If the orders keep going, I've spent 10 hours a day doing it.
Wow.
Mike Rosser has been doing deliveries for Instacart and Shipt for a few years.
But we can do that one. That's not too big of a deal.
He started when he lived back in Texas and kept doing it when he moved to Fargo. But gas prices have him reconsidering.
It's almost not worth doing it part-time with gas prices as high as they are.
Rosser does deliveries as a side gig when he has some free time. And when he's able to, he can stay consistently busy.
It just depends. It's Friday, so you're going to see them pop up and then go away because somebody took it.
Rosser says if you have a fuel-efficient vehicle and are willing to work, this can be a pretty easy job. But with rising gas prices, he's had to be a little more picky on which orders to accept.
It's not just the difference or the distance between the store and the customer. It's how far are you from that store. And then once you deliver to that customer, if you're going to keep shopping, how far is the next store?
Rosser says with this just being a side gig, the extra money is always nice. But
you could have 10 cases of water and go into a 3rd floor of an apartment building. I'm not carrying a dolly with me to do groceries for other people.
Even with rising gas and food prices, he says there hasn't been much done company-wise to help drivers out.
I'd be okay paying an extra $5 per order if that $5 went to the driver. And I think that as a driver as well, I don't think people would have a problem with that. Tips are tips. They're always going to be up and down. But I think Instacart and Shipt could compensate a little bit more by adding an extra fee.
In Fargo, Alex Larson, Valley News Live.
Rosser says he wouldn't tell anyone not to work for the companies, but he says he'd only recommend it if you have a fuel-efficient vehicle and are ready to carry some cases of water. Still ahead tonight, hear what President Biden is saying about the likelihood of U.S. troops getting involved in Ukraine.
And for Fargo this evening, dropping quickly into the teens below zero with mainly clear skies and light wind overnight. Same story in Grand Forks with those teens below zero to get going for our Saturday morning. But a windy Saturday with some snow showers for some of us. I'll break down your weekend forecast and talk about that warm-up next.